I think she's got this on.
Is she a college,
This is good.
high school kid with these kids? Or with
No,
our kids?
she's older.
She's like 2 or 3 years
How are we doing
older
on the
than
previously?
Our kids.
What is
So
what
her
is-
sister
She's
is
21
our
years
kid's
old.
Yeah.
age.
Oh, so she's
Okay, and what's her
Josh.
last name?
McLean. Megan McLean. And
Yeah,
they were a
that's-
big soccer family.
Jenna McLean.
Josh.
Yeah,
is
Jenna
it.
McLean.
Avery's age,
Fallon.
Fallon's age. No,
They
not
played-
Fallon's. I mean, my Avery.
They played lacrosse.
They're a soccer family.
You got to turn it up because you can't hear it. And we got to start it over.
Not
know how to
everything
use this
revolves
thing?
around lacrosse.
Because I said to my friend, I said, you know what?
Okay, you
got
got to re-rack.
Are you
And
talking
it's-
cars or are you talking people? when
No,
you're
we're
saying
talking
drag
like drag cars.
Can
not,
you
I got it.
not
I got it.
like
Okay, just
drag
hold on
queen.
1 minute. All right.
Okay,
I
I
know.
just checked.
That's a valid question.
It was.
Are you ready? Are you ready? 3, 2, 1, go.
Previously on Something About Nothing. Well, you know, last summer I didn't even go to the drag races. I didn't even go to the drag races because I said to my friend, I said, you know what, it's going to be so hot.
Are you talking
And it's-
cars or are you talking people? when
No,
you're
we're
saying
talking
drag
like
race?
drag cars, not my beloved drag queen.
That was classic.
Okay,
I
I'm
know.
just checking.
That's a valid question.
It was.
You're listening to Something About Nothing. We've got a few folks just like you to talk about what's happening in sports, the news of the day.
Fern, you look
the
hot over
absurdity of
there.
life. Here's our host,
Whoa, whoa,
Scott
whoa.
Oshman.
Okay, there's
Atta
the
baby.
sounds of Todd Elvig breaking into our great intro. Thank you, Todd. I guess he's on tonight. He's here. We're live from Fred's Rivertown Ale House. No one respects the open, people.
They don't.
I mean, just know
I do.
what,
I
what's
respect
that
the open.
about.
It was already into the music.
No, that's the music. You can't mess the music.
You don't
Anyway.
respect my voiceover.
See, Tracy Jansen, TracyJansen.com here. Timothy B. Boyle and Fernalicious here, live, Fred's, plausibly live, I like to say, from Fred's Rivertown House in downtown Snohomish here. Right on
It's too
Main
bright.
Street. Is it First Street? We're really on
Yep,
First Street.
we're on
Yeah.
First Street.
Come on, see us.
It's kind of like Main Street, though.
Yeah, well, I wanted to just start a couple announcements, a little housekeeping. First of all, if you want to write the show, if you have an opinion, you'd like something, I don't know, make fun of us, which is easy and hard to do all at the same time, you can write us at letters at somethingaboutnothing.com. And Tracy, are there any G's?
There's no G's in that.
Thank you.
There's no G's.
Not,
Fern,
None.
don't chime in.
Zero.
Fern.
not even one.
Not even one.
And
G.
if you're an original artist and you want your
Yes.
music on here and you want to, this is a serious becoming the blowtorch. I'm kind of bragging, but I'm just saying. You can send your music, original artist, send us an email, of course, but also music at somethingaboutnothing.com
No
as
Gs.
well. And then no G's. And then quickly, we are on Spotify as well as iTunes, Apple Podcasts, the Google machine, Google Play, any Android, anywhere, Stitcher, everywhere you listen, we are there. Okay?
Why did the Apple products get mentioned first?
Because actually,
they have a really good podcast now.
about 90-some
They
percent of people who listen to podcasts listen through some type of Apple device, which is crazy. So that's the announcement portion of the program. Everybody's weekend good? Anything exciting?
We golfed.
We did golf. I lost like 100 golf balls. It was crazy.
lot.
You're keeping
It's a
those
lot.
kids in business.
I
They're
am
selling them
so bad.
on the 14th hole.
What is
Horrible.
that over there at the putt-putt golf? Or is this a real course?
Oh, he would have lost more balls on that.
Yeah, the putt-putt. That's way too highbrow. The other thing I want to start with real quickly before we get into some sports is a little new, fresh segment called First World Problems. Because there's just never enough time for the pet peeve or peeves. That was a question today in our text message. Is it peeve or peeves, Tim?
Peeves, because
Peeve.
there's
If
a
it's
lot.
one, it's peeve. If
lot
it's
of
two, it's
peeves.
Well,
peeve.
I-
That's what I was saying.
Did-
There should
lot
be
of
a-
Does everyone
Peeves.
agree
What
we
is
need
that?
to start with Tracy if you're watching on
That's all your
STSBet.com?
Yeah,
She's got
back
a
and
long.
Holy-
Yeah.
That's like 15 episodes worth.
That's
Yeah.
Encyclopedia
I
Britannica.
should start right now.
Yeah, start it off right now.
Just throw one out. What's your top one?
Oh, really? Seriously?
Yes.
Yeah,
Well, I
mean,
have them. I have.
If
I
she
have
has to put her
categories.
glasses on to read
She has
it. We're in
categories.
big trouble.
Here's one. Okay, traffic. I was actually going to write this to the rant and rave column at the Seattle Times. On-ramps. On-ramps on freeways. On-ramps on freeways are meant to
Merge.
get up into the freeway speed,
Correct.
not to dawdle about at 35 miles an hour and then figure out how to get on and go for about another mile on the freeway before you get up to 55 or 60 or 70 miles per hour. Drives me nuts.
I'm so glad you brought that up. The other
You're
thing
welcome.
the other thing about that is people, you're supposed to merge. You're supposed to find your spot in there. It's not up to the people that are
Right.
on the freeway.
You got a zipper.
Zipper merge.
Yes.
It's right here. Zipper merge, zipper merge, zipper merge. If everybody could learn how to zipper merge
It's
the
a lost
life.
art.
Yeah.
It really is.
Fern-
It makes
Fernalicious?
all the difference in the world.
Fernalicious is already left the building.
Jesus Christ.
Cheese and rice, Pat, man. Okay, Fern, we'll get your pet
killing me.
peeves next.
All right.
I can't keep up with that.
Okay.
No, but mine is my number one, and I only had 2 on my list. I can't keep up with Tracy, but it is my number one pet peeve. Is
What?
the if you are driving in the fast lane. I have a couple driving ones actually. Okay, so the first one is when you are driving in the fast lane, it means that you need to be passing somebody.
In the fast lane, but you gotta define that. You mean the toll lane, or do you mean
No, I'm
on the
just-
left?
The left lane.
It's the left lane. It's
Yeah.
called the fast lane.
Not the HOV
Not the
line.
HOV
Not the
lane?
HOV
That's not a
lane.
fast
That's
lane.
Okay,
not a fast
I just
lane.
want to make sure we're
No, no,
clear.
no. The fast lane. It's the left lane.
I love the left.
If you drive on I-90 to go to Spokane, there's only 2 choices by the time you get to Ellensburg.
Yeah.
And then you got Mr. Dawdler who just like, I just like it over here. I just like it
I
over
can
here.
see
It's
better
nicer."
from here.
That's when you get up on his tail and start
Oh, I do.
flashing your lights out.
And I'm like, really? You pass the car and then you get back in the right lane. That's how you do it.
Exactly.
And the thing that really pisses me off is that there are signs that say the left lane, it's unlawful to use the left lane unless you're
camp out
passing.
in the
Yeah.
left lane,
Really?
yeah.
Has anybody ever been pulled over for staying in the left lane too long because
Maybe.
you're there for 55 miles?
Maybe.
I don't know.
I would guess.
I'd like to see it.
Yeah.
Never when you want him
Someday.
to.
Never. Okay, sorry,
Yeah.
I'm done.
And then, Tim, we didn't get to your one last week, which is about people walking on the sidewalk. Or
What was-
walking, or no, you were trying to walk, and then people were on their
Oh,
phones or something, and
when
you
you're
couldn't.
going, like wherever you are, at the mall, Costco, wherever, everybody's on their phones. And
Yeah.
you got to play like dodgeball or something to get through
Tetris?
people. And
No,
Tetris
that's not right.
or whatever it is.
Pac-Man.
Because
Asteroids?
People
Pac-Man?
are all walking at different paces because they're all looking at
Oh,
their
I hate that.
phones.
I pull
This-
over.
Elbows out, barrel through.
Yep.
Elbows out, barrel through. Seriously.
Is that how you run? That's your
Pretty
Costco
much.
strategy?
That a girl.
Pretty much.
I hope that this gets
out
her.
of my
I
way.
tried it.
Oh, excuse me.
We use, as I've said before, the Wonder List, which is one of the greatest inventions of all time. The Wonder List, so everybody knows it's on the list. I try and pull over whenever I have to go check my list,
Oh,
even at
yeah.
the grocery store.
Right.
I pull over.
To a spot where you're not going to be in front of anybody
Yeah.
and people. Yeah.
But now at the yogurt section, it's like the lat guy at the Y, who there's a new one, by the way. There's a new lat guy who literally he did like 18 sets of lats, and I waited and I tried. I was thinking about
this
you,
is
Tim.
on my list too.
And then,
You
but
gotta ask.
I
You
had
gotta
this.
say, "Hey, can I work in with you?
Yeah.
How many you got left?" Can I?
Yeah.
And you say it kind of in a rude way, and
I'll practice.
but you're too nice.
I am.
That's the problem.
So the other day, I'm at the grocery store, and the big doors against the yogurt, and this nice family, and they had like a 20-minute dissertation on arguments of which yogurt, and I'm like, I finally did have to say, excuse me, I just got to get in here because I'd rounded the store like 6 times just to see if they had left, and they were
Unbelievable.
deliberating which yogurt to get.
And you
First-
run, you run a company because I can't see you making that many laps.
Yeah, we don't do well.
First of all, I think if you have to go to Costco with a group, like it's not Costco is not a group activity.
No.
You go by yourself and you get it done. You get in, you get out, you get her done.
No, well, you're right. I agree, but here's the problem. Now you got people taking their families to Costco so they can eat. They go
All the
around
samples.
and eat all the samples. and
that's
that's
on
a
my
huge
list,
pet,
too.
see, that's a
It's like-
huge pet peeve of
Okay,
mine.
about the samples, say thank you. Say
Yeah.
thank you when
Yes.
you grab a
Exactly.
sample. I mean, these
Right.
little old ladies and retired men giving out the samples. I look at them and I say, thank you for my slice of cheese. Thank you. And then drives me nuts. So people just take it and it's just like,
Like
drives
they
me
haven't
nuts.
eaten in 4 months.
Yeah.
That could be me. I could be that guy.
But
Serving
say
Serving
thank
stuff.
you.
No,
I agree.
serving stuff.
Oh.
I could be
right.
that guy retired serving stuff. I always say
yeah.
hello. I always chat him up.
You would,
I think you'd look
You
good
would
in
be
an
really
apron.
good at
He'd,
that.
I
he'd
think you
give
have
him
a
too
future.
big a portion because
Yeah.
he feels sorry for everybody, and the samples would be
He'd
gone.
pass
like,
them under the table.
Oh,
It's
you
like,
want-
here's a full sandwich.
You've only
Here.
been back 4 times. Here, take the 5th, and here, take some
You
more.
obviously are really hungry. Here, have the whole sandwich.
All right, that was an excellent new version of
Hey, hey,
First
hey,
World
hey.
Problems.
Oh,
oh,
sorry.
You
Oh.
tried to skip.
Well,
right
you
over
weren't on
me.
the list.
we
You
didn't-
didn't have a
That
list
is
like
a-
Know if he
Tracy.
was, I didn't know that he was mic'd up.
Yeah.
That was a bunch of crap. Because that.
Okay, go ahead, because I'm keeping on time tonight.
Oh yeah, that'll happen.
We're at 8:23 into
Jeez.
the segment.
May as well ask for Jimmy Hoffa's autograph.
Tim, that's a typical Democrat. He just went right over the top of my needs.
Oh, wow.
Go ahead,
wow.
sir.
Wow.
You have the floor from
Well,
the
I think
great state of Washington.
I know that you're all dying to. You're like, what is he
Yeah,
gonna
what
say?
We're
is
on
he?
pins and
What
needles.
is he gonna say?
Because he's such an easygoing guy. Like,
He is.
That's right.
I don't believe that.
He
Okay.
really is, actually.
Now I'm going to try.
I won't
and
give
keep
you
it-
away.
I'm going to try and keep it narrow.
Yeah, because
But all I need to do is use the word bike.
Bike?
Oh, the bikes.
Now I got to tell you, I don't go to Seattle very often, and I'm glad I don't. But when you're down there, and they've created this whole utopia for bicyclists.
Those green bikes they have everywhere too.
No, I'm
no,
talking
the
about
lanes.
The lanes.
They're
Oh, the
very
lanes.
confusing.
Oh.
Okay.
Sometimes they're
Well,
confusing.
first off, no, they kicked the crap out of me. First off, right? I got yelled at several times for not doing it right. But my problem is that when the cars are supposed to be obeying the lights, aren't the bicyclists supposed to obey the
they
Yes,
lights?
are.
yes.
Yes.
That should be anywhere.
Yeah.
The stop sign by my house at the bottom of Seattle Hill Road, not one bike stops at that. But all the
Well,
cars do.
They're going to die someday.
And I'm like, why don't they
No,
have to
yeah,
stop?
but it's going to be the car's fault that they die. Do you see what I'm saying?
My issue is not. It's just when the back roads here in Snohomish, out here in the country. When you got like when you have a whole peloton of like 15
on
and
Saturday
you're trying to, on
morning,
Saturday
it's
morning
like-
you're just trying to
Holy
get
shit.
down on
Yeah.
Spaghetti Road and you better just book an hour because
Do
you
that again.
can't get through them.
Do the country thing again.
Why? Out here in the country?
Yeah, you see, you get the.
Sound a little bit like
That's-
George W. Bush.
Yeah,
A little
Yeah.
bit.
country.
Okay.
Little
That
bit.
does work when
Little
you get the chin out
Texas.
there. In the
Yeah,
country.
country. Okay. Are you done? Is there any more? I don't want to deprive you. Is
I
that
got-
it?
I have,
feel
I have
better?
a list that's
I think
this long,
we've
but
just
I didn't think I
begun,
would
right?
read it
We're
all.
gonna
just
come
a little
back.
taster teaser.
This could be a whole episode.
Could
Literally
be.
a whole. We could do a pet peeve.
And he's going to
episode.
have an episode.
It could be a spin-off like our sports ones.
It could
we
be.
could do a pet peeve.
We could franchise it.
But does anybody really want to hear us complain for an hour?
I don't know who'd want to hear us. Period. So I don't know.
That's good right there. I don't care who you
Sports.
are.
Hey, kids, break up the Mariners. They're in first place.
What did I tell you?
You were right. I was wrong.
I am the baseball pundit now.
Wow.
I can see.
Okay, well then here's the
Oh,
question.
no.
What's gonna happen now that we got like a 3-game series with the
Yeah.
Astros?
Oh.
2 games.
that,
2
is
game
it only a
series.
2-game?
I didn't know
Only
about
2 games.
that.
Yep, that's tomorrow night.
Because it's historically it's been huge problems.
Okay,
For us.
I don't
go
think Ron can
Mariners. That's
see
what
this
I
far.
say.
Oh,
Go
that's-
Mariners.
Well, that's a good prediction.
8-2 on the
Mariners.
homestand. Huge win. The local kid Snell, who played at was it Shorecrest? I want to say Shorecrest.
Yes, sure.
Yeah.
It pitched unbelievable. 12 strikeouts there. They swept Detroit. They swept Tampa Bay, the 37-22. Felix goes 8 innings.
He looked awesome.
Yeah.
He did
Not
5 hits,
yesterday.
1 run. He had a couple minutes where it was like that
Teetering.
piece of wood that's just about to break. Yeah,
It's
like it was
usually
just
for
going to
him,
go.
It's usually in like the first inning.
Yes.
If he
He
can
got
get
through
out
the
of like
first.
the first inning, he's usually pretty good.
Yes. So go Mariners. Denard Span got his first RBIs. And Mariner Diaz, Fast Eddie, 21st save. Look at him go.
He's lighting it up.
But
He got roughed up the other day though a little bit.
he did. Just to make sure no one listening thinks we're too positive, they have a brutal June. They play Boston. They play New York. They have the
And you've
Astros
seen
coming up.
You've seen their records.
Oh,
right?
they are just back and
Yeah.
forth.
They have
So
like the top 2 records in all of baseball.
they end the month with Baltimore and Kansas
See,
City, who
there's
are
the wedge.
terrible.
You
But
just
anyway,
made this guy move.
yes,
I
the
told you.
wedge just comes in. We're coming up. We got Meg McClean coming up on our guest here
And she's
for a
grown
country
up.
artist.
She's
She
cute.
really has. Fantastic. So we have that
21.
MBI Finals.
You could say she's 21.
First game 1 was
Still a
fun.
baby.
That was
I know.
interesting. A lot of controversy. You know,
Controversy.
In game,
controversy.
the NBA finals.
the NBA
Oh,
Finals.
yeah,
I'm
the
moving
game
on because we're
one.
running out of time.
Yeah. Game 1 was
Fern,
spectacular.
welcome back. How you been?
Fernie baby.
Are you here?
Yeah, I'm just, you know what? I'm over the NBA.
Oh, that's right, NHL. Hey,
Oh,
by
yeah,
the way,
they're kinda
Mr.
fun, though.
Boyle and I have a small wager.
Oh,
We do.
I thought it was a beer, but he educated me on Saturday. No bet
Well,
can
it's-
actually be for one beer.
If it's a beer, then I buy the first. If I owe him a beer and I buy the first one and he buys the next one, it's
Then
really
it's a
not.
wash.
It's a wash. So I'd say I got to buy you 2 if I lose.
well, there
I
caps.
say he buys for the night. However,
For the
that,
night.
Yeah.
Well, it wouldn't. I'd still
No,
be
I'm
2.
gonna win. It looks
It'd be
like
2.
Oh, okay, then
If
two.
he was buying though, he'd owe me it'd be like 10.
Yeah, that's right.
That's
Scott kind of he
Yeah.
usually drinks the first one really fast. Like
We went golfing on Saturday. I came home, I was exhausted. Erin said, "Why?" I said, "Well, I drank all day." And then she's like, "Oh, really? Playing golf, right?" And then I turn out, I go, "Yeah, I had like 2.5 Coors Lights." She's like, "Really?
All day. All
That's
day, buddy.
drinking all day, 2.5 Coors Lights?" Yeah, I took the third one home. I didn't even finish it.
he did,
Took the
true
third
story.
one home.
I was gonna drink it, but he wanted to take it home.
Isn't that called open container?
Not when you're on the golf course.
Well, it was closed
No.
at that time.
You can actually drive the carts around with an open container.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so no one cares about the NBA Finals.
Nope.
It was
Well,
a
no.
dud last night.
No, what do you mean nobody cares? It's
I mean, a lot of
Tracy
people
already
care who
did.
don't live here, but
Tracy and I already
Fernalicious
voted.
don't care.
well, she's got to suck it up sometimes.
Well, the Vegas Knights, the bandwagon y'all are on,
Yeah.
that's a tough one right now. They were down. When you listen to this, it'll, I don't know, unless a miraculous comeback, but the Caps were up 4-0 in the third period.
And you
That's
know the
4-1 in the third here.
And
Then-
the Caps are the underdogs.
And the Caps were the underdogs.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
I know it's
And they're already up 2
they-
games to 1.
They
so
could be it could be 3-1 after tonight, and then it's
Good.
people don't come back.
Yeah, I
from
should
that.
use this opportunity to try the new web screen that can pop up on the.
Oh, maybe you should. For those listening
Yeah,
and
trying.
watching on stspn.com.
Try out the
Okay.
new stuff.
Washington softball, they went to the World Series. Also,
Yes.
the baseball team makes the World Series for the first time, not probably first time, but a long time.
UW
Might be.
baseball team?
Yeah.
Softball.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, baseball and
Didn't they just
softball?
win the
Yeah.
Oh.
regional or something? Yeah.
Why did I not hear about baseball, but softball's all
who-
over the place?
Because nobody. Well, the softball because they're in like the championship.
Yeah, they're
game.
right.
That's
It's the
why.
denouement.
Yeah.
And you said they were down, the Huskies?
They were. I think
They
they lost
lost
1-0.
today.
Okay, but they
Today.
still play. It's a
Yeah,
whole
they play
unique
tomorrow.
thing.
They play
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Okay. Well, that concludes the sports section of the program.
That's it?
What else did you want to
Awesome.
talk about?
Well, we just skipped right over the NBA, and you just.
Well,
you
what's
said
there to
nobody
talk about?
wants-
LeBron's great. I think he finally got
What's there to
tired.
talk about? It was like that game was like epic. That first game.
The first game was epic.
Yeah.
The second game, Stephon Curry. I mean,
Some of his shots are just ridiculous.
beyond
Can you
ridiculous.
imagine playing that guy in horse?
no.
I mean,
Not
it'd literally
even.
be like those old commercials with Larry Bird and Jordan where they're throwing it off the rafters. Remember those McDonald's
yeah, totally. I love
That's
those.
what it would be like.
He was running scared at one point. I mean, like a bunny and my dog chasing the bunny. He's running. The clock shot's going
Yeah.
down. He just hucks it up, and boom, it goes
Yeah,
in.
he's
9
like
3-pointers.
7 feet behind the 3-point line. There's no time on the shot clock, and he just throws up a prayer, and it goes in. The guy he is the best shooter, I think, in the history of the NBA.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah.
My goodness.
That's
an
a big
endorsement.
claim there.
Wow.
Golly.
Well, tell me who's better.
Letters at somethinabouutnothing.com.
I'm not saying he's the best player. I'm just saying he's the best shooter in the history of the NBA. The guy makes the
Man.
most ridiculous shots.
All right. I don't have time to debate that right now. Not that I would totally. I got to think. There's Allen. There's actually he's
Larry
getting
Bird's
Larry Bird. He's
right
getting
up
up there
there.
on the all-time 3-point list, which hasn't been around since the inception of the NBA. But
Yeah, like
it's been around a long time.
Well, isn't that because they used to really play basketball? Now it's just kind of a three-point
Yes, and
fest.
Yeah,
I
a
will
little
say the
bit.
Warriors are fun to watch when they play together. But
well, they
that's
got 3 of the best players in all
They
of
do.
basketball are on
They do.
Golden State.
all right. We got to get out of here.
Okay.
Coming up next, we're going to actually move to our special guest right now because they've been waiting in the wings for so long. So we're going to go. We got Meg
wait.
McLean coming up.
3, 2, 1.
We got Meg McLean coming. Thank you, Todd. That's nice of him. He's thinking of my editing process. When we come back, Meg McLean, local country superstar.
Oh, she's a
And she
country
lives out in
singer,
the
too?
country with the wedge.
She does. She's on the farm with the wedge after this.
Hey, did the wedge bring his headset? Let's see. He's got his bag.
Okay,
he
Megs are
always
ready.
comes prepared.
We're ready, Megs.
It's
Come
all you,
on.
sister.
Do we want to scoot? Do we want to like?
Look,
Here, you scoot over just a little bit, and then I'll.
I've got for a little. Little ass.
The only thing I want to talk about the NBA Finals
Yeah.
was the pregame Carlos Santana and his wife playing the drums.
Oh well, why didn't you talk about
I
it?
wrote it down. And we
Oh, you're bringing her here. Okay, gotcha.
Hey, now that you're famous, don't we get to say we knew her when?
Yep.
Is this your first podcast?
Yeah.
Hello.
It's not her first podcast.
Good thing that's not recorded, is it?
Dang it. We like to be the first.
No,
Is it the first podcast you've ever been on? Wait.
Oh, look
Is
at all that room.
Is it the first podcast you've
Is
ever
he
been
moving the
on?
wall?
He's moving
that's
the wall.
about absolutely nothing?
no.
Wait, what podcast were you on?
I was on, it's called Cowboy Up Podcast, and it's like this guy that just like lives in a house. He's like really good friends with one of my best friends.
Okay.
And so he just talks about nothing. But it's
Oh,
like
wow.
this.
See? Maybe I'm
like
on
us.
to maybe we're on to
Just
something.
like us.
But he's like way more like he talks to like rappers and stuff. So like,
Okay.
he had never had a country artist on. And
Uh-huh.
It was super awkward.
All right.
We'd have rappers on too if any of us knew one. Eminem maybe.
Hey.
or-
Hey, our musical
you're a
director,
rapper?
that's
Oh.
them there.
There you go. There you
Oh,
go.
I'm
Just
out.
wait,
I'm
couple
way out of
weeks.
bounds here.
Oh, can you do 3, 2, 1? It's now catching on.
Oh.
to
I
me.
think
It's kinda
that's
clever.
Are we live?
Yeah.
Props to him for that.
But you can
by
do
the
like
way.
this.
Yes, sir.
We're back. We got Meg Mclean. Megs, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. You've met everybody. You know a lot of
Yes,
us.
I do.
Grew up,
Do you know
grew
what
up
I
in the
just-
neighborhood.
Do you know what I just learned like about 37 seconds ago?
What?
Not only does my daughter know her, she went to see her this weekend in
No.
Big Harbor.
Whoa.
No
Fallon.
way.
Oh my gosh, I told her, yeah, she's one of my really good friends with my sister.
Well, now where
Small
were you in
world.
Gig Harbor?
I was at the Maritime Festival in Gig Harbor, so they dressed up like pirates. It's like pirate themed. And so then they had like a parade. It was so cool.
I like
I didn't get the
pirates.
memo, and everybody brought their dogs, and my poor dogs were left home alone, and I came back, and they were like, why do you smell like
Yeah.
everybody
I know
else's
you.
dogs?
Now, a little inside baseball here. Megs happens to be the daughter, one of the great daughters here, the McLeans, Johnny Mack, the great statistician in the basketball, Leslie McLean. She was one of the first camera people of SDSPN, by the way. And then, of course, the legacy really begins with her grandfather, the Wedge.
Celebrity.
He is the true celebrity on SDSPN and many other places. So you got that going for you, Megs.
Yeah, come from a line of famous people.
You really do. You really do. But we're here to talk about
No
your song.
pressure,
We're-
sister, no pressure.
We're going to feature your song, Cowgirl and Me, off your 2016 EP, Out of School, correct?
Yes.
So tell us about the journey here real quick. I mean, you are busy. You are booked. If you go to, and by the way, you talking about followers? Man, she's got followers. Instagram, at Megs McLean Music, right?
Yep.
At Megs McLean Music. That's also Twitter, Facebook, Megs McLean. I mean, 7,000 plus on Instagram. I mean, she's all over the place, and she is booked solid.
Oh, here we
hey
go.
Now. Okay, well, we heard it for a second.
So where's your next?
So
Where's
go
your
ahead.
next gig?
My next gig, I'm actually playing a private party at a yacht club this
Oh.
weekend.
No way.
Really?
Wow.
It's nice
Moving up
work
in
if
the
you can
world.
get
Is
it.
it Thurston How?
and
She's
lovey.
like, who?
Love it.
I'm not really sure how I'm supposed to like dress, so
Nautical.
it should be
Nautical.
interesting.
Little nautical.
Nautical.
Now, do you
Not
have a big?
naughty, but nautical.
Do you have a big writer? You know, like when I used to work in college,
your
we'd bands.
stylist.
What's that?
I'll be her stylist.
Okay.
There you go.
Oh yeah.
Do you request like certain things? I want food, a certain thing, a big writer list, a big.
I don't have a big writer list. I just request for people to be nice.
That seems fair to me.
It's my
That's
request.
very
Other
unreasonable.
than that, I'm good. Someone to protect me if there are perverts, you know, the usual.
Just a little
Is that the usual? I can only
Just the
imagine.
usual.
Does that happen sometimes?
Oh
You get-
yes.
really?
Oh yeah. All the time.
Share a story.
Oh
Yeah.
gosh.
Fill us in.
So, well, a lot of the times, like, guys will come up to me and they start talking to me and they think I'm just going to automatically fall for them. It's the weirdest thing. And so then I proceed to be sassy towards them and they don't get the hint. So it gets really bad. And I'm just being, and then I get to the point where I'm being, like, flat out mean to these guys and they love it. They keep coming
is it with
back
you
and
guys?
talking to me.
Don't
is
Jen,
it?
hey,
And you
don't
wanted
put
to
us in
say,
a group.
Go away.
You know,
Yeah, right?
Go away.
It's like you
I
dumb,
can't-
you dumb boys.
well,
Dumb
let
boys.
Megs, there's two reasons for that. One, they're men and they're idiots.
They're idiots.
Two, there's probably alcohol involved.
Always.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. So tell us, what are you working on now? I mean, you are committed to this. You've
For
taken a
sure.
lot of risk, a lot of chance. You
Yeah.
got a lot of time on the road. You're traveling around. You have a great band here. Tell us about what you're working on now.
Well, right now, we are working on a new album, hopefully a full-length album. Definitely a single within the next year, which I'm super excited for, and I can't disclose a bunch about it. But there are some great new songs coming out, and this next song is kind of, it's really sassy, and I think people are going to like it. When I play it, so I play all these songs live, and usually this is the song that we have gotten the most response from. So I'm super excited about this one.
But go ahead, Tim.
Are you writing your own music and what?
So basically, I usually come up with a melody and majority of the lyrics, and then I sit down with some members of my band, and then we'll talk about it, go through STEM ideas, and kind of we end up with this jumble that ends up being a really cool song. So it's, you know, a team effort as well, but I do try to be really hands-on in everything.
Now,
and you can hear it in the background.
you
It's
can hear a little bit in the
amazing
background.
stuff.
And I'm not going to try and throw some names, but I guess I'm going to name drop. Taylor Swift, Kenny Chesney. Tell us about that story.
2 years in a row, I actually ended up playing this huge stage outside of the stadium that they were both playing in different years. And basically, everybody that went to the show heard me as they were walking by and going into the show. So they'd stop, come over, drink beer, hang out, listen to the music before they went into the concert. So we were like the pre-show party. It was super
That's
fun.
cool. You
That
were
is
kind of
awesome.
like the warm-up for the warm-up type of thing.
Yeah.
I like that.
So what you got a YouTube video. I mean, what is your big, it's really hard to break through, right? And get the big break. I mean, you got a heck of an agent, you got a booking agent, you got all kinds of stuff, you got the Wedge. I mean, and again, nobody can break into a room, into a record label, into a studio like the Wedge. Nobody.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just,
You can't stop
that
it.
is, that's
can't.
science.
He
I
will
mean,
walk into a black tie event in khakis and a plaid shirt and ask them why they're here.
Exactly.
And what the hell they're doing.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, Ron, don't do it. Don't do it. And he's like, I'm going to do it. And then he just walks in. And you're like, okay.
He's like Jordan in the old days. You can't stop him. You can only hope to contain him.
Exactly.
Get this. At my gig this past weekend, they had put caution tape up because there were runners running by. And he just walks up and starts taking down the caution tape.
Of course he does.
They don't mean him.
That's
course he
that's the
did.
Ron we know.
Exactly.
We
The
never
rules do
have
not
problems.
apply.
Exactly. We never have problems getting anywhere because he will just do it, and we just follow him aimlessly. Like, you know what? Oh, so sorry. We're just following him.
We're with Ron.
This is
We're-
what we thought. This is what we were supposed to be doing.
And you know what? That is a privilege. Let me tell you,
The Wedge should be part of your security detail.
Oh, he
too.
is. He
Oh
is.
yeah. I wouldn't want to meet the Wedge in the back room of in an alley.
You would not want to break a water bottle on cement and have the Wedge watch you break that water bottle on cement because you will run back to your mommy screaming. Again, also has happened.
So you can go to megsmclean.com. She's got, you have to scroll down because she's booked out so far in advance. She is so busy.
Oh, yeah.
We're glad this worked out. You can come down megsmclean.com. Instagram again at megsmcleanmusic. That's good for a lot of places. And then on the Facebook, which are the kids still using Facebook?
I use Facebook.
I'm confused.
all the time.
Is that what you use the most of, or Snapchat?
I probably use Instagram the most out of
Okay.
everything.
That's where
My
it's at.
Twitter is awful. Like, if you want to get to know me, don't go to Twitter.
You have
but
over 7,000 or something on Instagram.
yes,
Yeah.
it's been a journey.
Okay, what's the Instagram?
At Megs McLean Music.
Yeah,
All right.
Meg's McLean
Just-
Music.
You
In
should
case
pay
they
attention.
forgot.
It's catching on.
Hey, Tim, you should
Come on
listen
now.
to this podcast.
I know.
Is
I
there-
should.
Yes, because then you'll know where to go.
Is
really
there any
should.
other big things? I mean, country, is that something you've always loved, country music?
Oh, yes, for sure. Down to, like, my first memory. Well, okay, my first memories of music were me listening to Metallica on the way to preschool. You can thank my dad for that.
Nice.
And so
Johnny
I grew
Mac.
up. Oh yeah, so I grew up with that like hardcore kind of in my blood, right? My favorite song was "Hero of the Day" by Metallica, which is one of their like not popular songs, but it was my favorite. Get in the car every day to preschool. What do you want to hear? "Hero of the Day." He's like, all right, puts it on. I got it. I'm
fantastic.
really into Chevelle right now. I don't know if you guys know who Chevelle is. They
Tracy's
sing this
our
song.
I
musical
don't.
director.
I don't know.
I'm sorry.
A Chevelle? I thought that was a Chevy car.
Wait a minute. Hold
What
on.
what
Like the
genre is
70s.
Chevelle?
I got to get a T.O. Todd Elvig knows who that is, and
He's
Tracy
lying.
Jansen,
He's
TracyJansen.com doesn't know.
What genre? What?
I don't know. It's kind of like, yeah, it's
Oh,
metal.
see, I'm not a big metal
Okay,
fan.
that explains it.
No.
Thank you. We can resume.
I'm good.
Yeah. So what other? So country's been a big deal.
So I grew up listening. So the rock was kind of at the root. The rock and the metal was kind of at the root of everything. And then as I grew up, I'd listen to country music. My sister and I were singing as loud as we could country music in the car. And I used to go to horse camp all the time. So all we heard there was country music. We played My Maria on repeat like 80,000 times in the car. And so then, ever since then, I've kind of tried to incorporate all of the genres that I really love. So the metal, the rock, the grunge.
Yeah, the
and
grunge.
then-
You
and
talk
then
about
the
that.
country. Yeah, so I mean, same thing, like just all throughout my life, like just listening to Nirvana and Pearl Jam and just loving that. One of my favorite grunge songs is actually by a band called Garbage. And it's called I'm Only Happy When It Rains.
Oh, I love that song.
I love that song.
That was their
She knows that one.
crazy theme song.
Thank God, the world is back on its axis. All is right.
I actually used to cover that song
love that
when I
song.
started out singing in bars and stuff.
And
so
it's true. I am only happy when it rains.
See, I love it when it rains. And that first, when
you.
it rains and that first smell.
Oh,
it's
that's my wife's favorite
They
smell.
should put that
Yes.
into
A
a
candle.
man's perfume bottle and
Yep.
Or a
spray it,
candle,
just
right?
drench
Yes.
the men in it, and we'll come running.
Everybody be happy.
Yeah.
So the Wedge, of course, broke into the show off the way you guys were chatting, and so you have a big show coming up in Marymore. I'm told just now.
Yes, definitely. I am super.
Some
super
type of
excited
fest.
about
She's
it.
going to her calendar
Yeah, the
right
Washington Beer Fest.
Oh, how you
Ooh.
doing?
Wow.
Yes.
Beer
it's
and
gonna
country
be-
music,
it's
those
gonna
go
be good.
together
I'm
like
trying
peanut
to-
butter and jelly.
Which date is that? I'll find it. Hold on.
Well, yeah, you can find it, but we'll have links to everything that is Meg Mclean on the show notes. We'll also put a link everywhere. She's going to share it, link it, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So megsmclean.com, you can check it out.
The 15th.
It's the 15th
of this
June?
month.
of
Oh,
June.
fun. Okay.
At
Yes.
Marymore.
At Marymore Park.
All right.
Yes.
And what's the event?
It's the Washington Brewers Festival. So
Okay.
basically, you just taste like a bunch of beers, and
They have Coors Light.
Doubtful.
what are you, a
170
frat
breweries.
boy?
No, I'm
As
old.
a matter of fact.
I'm over here drinking a Mac and Jacks.
I know you are. And that's makes me happy. All right, well, thank you for coming on. Is there
Of
any other
course.
big announcements? You want to break right here
No,
on Something About Nothing?
I don't know. This, I mean,
Well,
I
that
got
song.
nothing.
This could be.
There you
one
go.
of these days, somebody's going to get their. Somebody's going to make it huge. It's probably going to be her, and we're going to be like
We
the
got
Ed
Public
Sullivan
Theater.
show,
We
you know?
got Logan
Yeah.
Bridge Public Theater local. We got a lot of people. All right,
Yeah.
Megs, thank you so much for coming on.
Of course, anytime.
All right, check out everything megsmclean.com, and you can follow it and listen to it, and good luck. And, man, keep the Wedge close to you and have fun this summer.
Will do. Thanks,
All right, we come back.
guys.
We're going to have
Thank
the
you.
Yiddish word of the week coming up. We'll call Scottsdale, Arizona.
Thank you
Nice
very
job.
much.
Nice job.
Very
Nice
good.
job.
That was solid.
That was solid. That was actually right on
was good.
time.
It was
That
good.
was awesome.
Do you know Jenna and Megan McLean? Jenna is one of my best friends, and I went to see her sister and get her perform. Yes, I knew that. I'm like, really? Oh, yeah. Sorry. I'm so mad. Nice to meet you.
Thank you so much. I'm glad it worked out.
Yes, me too. I'm super happy.
Well, this is good.
I do, yeah. Every time we drive by your house.
Have you been there too?
They
Yes. That's Valentine's. This wave to Fallon.
All right, I got to call my
You
dad,
said,
or else
I
he's
know
going to fall
Fallon's
asleep.
Mom. yeah, do that next time. Yeah. I know. You tell
Todd,
your sister. I know her mom.
I got to call my dad. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, I'll email you all the links, and then you can do what you do.
Do it. We'll do a press release.
Push it. That'd be awesome.
Say hi to your daughters for me.
I will do that. I will do that. Okay, we got to call my dad because he gets cranky.
Me too.
And tell Johnny we want him back in the booth this.
Yeah.
We need the.
We
need
need
our
Johnny
stats
Mac.
guy.
Yes, we need Johnny
Big time.
Mac. Should I hold it up here?
What does that do?
I don't know. Better
Are you
reception.
with AT&T?
Yiddish Central.
Hello, Yiddish Central. How you doing? You all right? You all choked up?
ahead. I don't hear you very well.
Oh, you can't hear
Don,
us?
can you hear us?
Dan, can you hear me?
Can you
Very
hear?
garbled.
Very garbled.
That's
Uh-oh.
not me.
We're talking to our technician right now.
You got to put
We
that
got
thing
people
down.
Okay, I'll
on
put
it.
it
Set
down.
it on your beer.
Okay.
There you go. Yeah.
Can you hear us any better now?
It's still garbled, but it's
So-
okay. I can make it out.
I can hear it when something moves.
Don, are you out to eat right now?
What did you say?
Are you out to eat right now? Are you back? Where are you at?
I think there's a camera someplace following me around.
Ah,
What?
And what are you eating tonight?
Well, there's a 2-for-1 special at Mimi's. You probably don't have Mimi's.
Oh, I love
don't
Mimi's.
have
Get the
Mimi's.
carrot, raisin carrot muffin.
Yes, and they make a roast chicken or grilled chicken that is second only to Georgie's. And it's
GTO.
outstanding.
Excellent.
That's what I ate. That's what I just finished eating.
are you
No,
back
we-
home now, or?
No, Tim, I didn't want to. You know, we were at home yet.
Oh, you're still at the restaurant?
We're just finishing.
A long night ahead of him.
All right, well,
Awesome.
I called you earlier, and I think you were in a flat nap. I'm not sure, but
We
we'll
were having the flat nap. Does anybody know what the
Flat
nap
naps?
is? I want to talk about it at a different
Oh, yeah.
time.
We talked.
I think I did that earlier.
tell everybody what a flat nap is, Dad.
At my age, you don't remember what you said. A flat nap is you lay down in bed for a nap, flat on your back. You don't get your clothes messed up. You don't get your hair messed up. And it's a quick, easy way to have a nap.
Those are not the naps I like to have.
It's the
But
nap
don't tell
when
too much-
what it is, and I had this discussion with
Flat
Dawn
nap.
on
What
the
is
way
n-
up to golf.
Yes.
It's one of those naps where you don't want anybody to know you're napping. Like the wife comes home, you can pop right up real quick. Oh, I was doing the dishes. You know, it's one of those.
Nap
Flat
means
nap.
something different to Fern, Delicious, apparently.
You're right.
Dad, what is this week's Yiddish word of the week? Because this is a doozy. I mean, I can't tell you, people, how many times I heard this particular word used growing up. From the inception, from the time I could hear.
It's called Schmeichel.
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 Schmeichel, yes.
Schmeichel.
Now,
Yeah.
there's a story about, I'll give you a hint about Schmeichels. This is not the official, but the Schmeichel can be positive or negative.
Isn't Schmeichel's where you go and get your arts and crafts supplies? Schmeichel's?
I think that's Michael's.
No, that's Hobby Lobby.
Oh, no.
Yep.
No.
It's
Hobby
Ben
Lobby.
Franklin.
Ben
Some of
Franklin.
some of us don't go to Hobby Lobby.
Schmeichel.
Let's
Any
not
guess?
let the political police.
Any
I know
guess?
what it is.
We had a commentary
I
from
know
a
what it
listener.
is?
I know what it is.
Schmeichel.
Wait,
Don't-
did you
it's
hear
good.
it before?
No,
You
I
got
did not.
disqualified, Tim. It's not
Is
fair.
it a verb
It's-
or an adjective?
It's
Ad-
positive
like-
and negative.
It's
So
Yiddish
it's,
for Superman.
What is it, Tim? You had something to say?
Well, now I'm second guessing myself. I'm going with my gut. It's like when the guy's being a can be being a D bag or being great. He's like a Schmeichel.
He's a Schmeichel. He's kind of
you're
a
a
jerk. He's
Yeah,
being a
he's yeah,
what a Schmeichel.
yeah. That's what I'm going with.
Dad, is that correct?
Let me give you an example. When Scott's mother had to move out of our house for 25, 30 years and pack it up all by herself, I was in such deep shit that I had a negative Schmeichel credit. And when I was very good and took her to Africa like she wanted to go, I got it all back. I had Schmeichel credits. Schmeichel really is an insincere, ass-kicking, brown-nosing. You know, if you have your boss, if your boss is playing golf and he's a crappy golfer, and you say, "You're terrific," that's Schmeicheling your boss.
this is brown nosing.
But you
Okay.
got to use that.
It's
I
a
mean,
bunch of
I grew up
bullshit.
in.
It is.
I grew up in with Schmeichel points. I mean, there was always.
That's right. That's right.
They're kind of like
Usually-
brownie points.
Yeah, like you
Yeah,
know, for
yeah,
your
exactly.
for your significant other.
I'm always
Exactly.
in negative Schmeichel.
It means
I'm
it's like
always
you're
in the red.
doghouse.
That's my father spent most of his career in that same area.
I don't think the Mister cares at all about his Schmeichel points. I don't think he really cares.
That's
I
right.
don't think
Tracy,
Joe does
you got to
either.
be very careful because the word Schmeichel is relatively close to Schmeckel, and you got to be careful about that.
Schmeichel?
Is this a 2-for-1 bonus Yiddish word of the week?
Schmeckel, you better not discuss.
Oh.
Oh.
Okay, Dad.
All right.
Schmeichel.
Schmeichel.
Enjoy Mimi's.
I'm gonna go look that up when I get home.
All right, I
Doing
love
our
you.
own research, Dawn.
We'll talk to you later.
All right, Don. See
Thank
you later.
you.
Thank you, Don.
He already hung up.
He did.
He knows.
He was out.
Guess what's next? Are you ready?
News.
It's the news. For delicious the news. See, that was right on time. 3:54.
That's nice.
We're killing it right now.
We got 6 seconds.
It's only like
to
10
make up.
o'clock at night, but
I'm texting my wife telling her to restart the server because for some reason it's having a data issue.
okay. But we are recording the audio, or no?
No, there's nothing wrong here.
Okay.
And it's live on YouTube. I'm just
Sure,
saying
sure.
the website there's some kind of data thing.
That's bad.
Sure. Good job.
Okay, it's time now for Fernalicious and the news. There are a lot of stories today, Fern. You really worked hard today.
Well,
The News Bureau,
I
you had the
hard.
interns working hard.
I did. The staff, they're exhausted. They're like, go home, woman.
They pulled an all-nighter. They took, and it wasn't just a flat nap either.
Anyway, okay, so the news. And the news starts with, oh my goodness, this silly millennial back there in New York. This is brought to us by Fox News. Maybe y'all heard, I don't think we talked about this on the news last month or last week, but about the 30-year-old who had his parents had to get evicted.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about it, I don't think.
I don't
Yeah,
think
we did, didn't we?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
But it was
happened
everywhere.
everywhere.
I
it
don't
was
listen to the
everywhere.
show, so I don't know.
You should try it.
Yeah, well.
But he actually had to call the cops to tell his dad to give him the Legos.
Oh,
Yes.
no.
That's right.
Come on.
This is actually after the court decided in favor of the parents
Yes.
for him to get out, but then when he was packing up, they wouldn't give him the Legos, so he called the police.
Well, he packed up, and he didn't apparently pack his Legos, and then he had to ask for them. Oh, my goodness.
You can't make
Anyway,
this stuff up.
You really
cannot.
can't.
It's disturbing because he's not even moving into his own apartment. He's going to live in an Airbnb for a while, and then he found some other poor little distant cousin that he's going to schmooze off for a while.
So, Scott, we should have had your
Damn millennial.
gal. Who's the gal that comes
yeah,
on
yeah.
defending the millennial?
Natalie Jim
We
Ollis.
should have had her talk about. We should ask
Well,
her
she-
about this. And
If I had to
Asked if she got her
speculate.
Legos when she moved
Yeah,
out.
that's a good
Yeah.
point. I won't even try to speculate.
Yeah.
I don't know how you
that
defend
poor
that.
dude.
I don't know.
No,
That'd be a
that's
tough
a
one.
mess. That's a mess. Okay, this is also going to be one
The
hard one
poor
for you.
dude. The poor parents.
Yeah, the
I said
poor
I said
parents.
this dude's a mess.
Yeah, that's
He's a mess. He's a loser.
He's got issue.
so.
Hopefully he's getting help. Go
All
ahead.
right. All right. Okay. So, well, here's another poor guy that's going to have to try to defend himself over there in Denver. The Denver Chronicle is reporting that there was a dancing FBI. I don't know if that's like a dancing bear, but it is a dancing FBI guy, and he's out on his own time having a good time, and he does a handstand. His gun out, and it shoots a patron in his lower leg. I'm like, that's bad, right? It's so
I
bad.
saw the video clip of that.
I did too. And he's very smooth. He does his little handstand. He hops up and he grabs the gun, but then it went off accidentally. His finger on the trigger. It's bad.
Didn't it fall out and go off, or?
No, it didn't go off until he picked it up.
The guy's fine,
It didn't
right?
go off till it. Okay.
Oh, he
that's-
picked it up with he.
That's bananas.
I'm sure there was alcohol involved.
What?
Yes.
Shocking.
But the guy, doesn't he get to go and eat there and drink there for the rest of his life or something?
The guy that got shot?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
No?
don't know. It's undetermined yet what's going to happen there.
He's
Okay.
going to be
All
in trouble.
Yeah.
Tim, I
He
thought
is
you'd
gonna
know all
be in
about that
trouble.
one.
Well, I didn't click on that one. I should have. It just seemed like a
Secure
bunch of
your firearm.
nonsense.
You're
Secure-
slacking.
I mean,
Secure
I don't
your
go
firearm.
out dancing with my firearm. I'm going to go watch Meg's. I'm not going to dance with my firearm.
No, you
I mean,
got.
come on.
there-
Or at least secure it. Secure it before
See,
you
that's
do
what our
inversions.
company does. We make holsters that secure those things.
Now, Tim, I don't know how much you go shooting, right?
Not
But-
very often,
But I got to tell you that I am confused. This not just this case, but in several instances where their guns just go off. Now, I've got guns. You got to be chambered, and the hammer's got to be back. I mean, there's a couple of steps in there before
yeah,
you pull the
safety
trigger.
has to be off. The bullet
Right,
has
but,
to be in the chamber.
I don't-
there has to be a.
Yeah, I don't understand how they
Well-
just go off.
have you seen the way people drive that have driver's licenses? I mean, it's just the way it is.
Well, and I'll tell you from somebody that has no experience with guns whatsoever, all these stories make it sound like they just spontaneously
Oh, they
combust.
do. They do. They're just
You know, it's just like
spontaneous.
there
Yeah,
it's
no,
sitting.
that-
Oh my God.
Yeah, exactly.
They
No,
do, but there's one common denominator. You have to have an idiot that's got his finger on the trigger, and then they do.
Man.
What's next, Fern?
Oh gosh, Action News 5 is reporting this
Action News File.
This poor woman, she's gonna have to sue poor Bass Pro Shop because she is now unable to enjoy her life to its fullest because she slipped on some vomit in the store.
Oh. Whoa.
Okay, the actually part that
Is
I
that
think
a trigger?
Oh, is that another one of those words?
Yeah, what was that other word?
Urine.
Urine.
Oh, thank you.
No urine.
I wonder
and
if there
vomit.
was mixed in there.
It's
You know, vomit is one of those words. Isn't it?
Why
Oh,
did she
vomit.
slip on vomit?
What I think is even funnier is that as the story goes on, that according to the lawsuit, that there were several store workers that actually knew about the mess and they didn't want to clean it up. And I'm like, oh, so they're my kids.
Yeah, exactly.
well, so it's me.
Didn't see that.
It's like, I never saw it. I didn't smell it. I don't have to take care of it.
Oh,
Be like
my.
the dog again.
Oh no.
All right. Just a couple little more, just two little more stories because you gotta recognize the woman over there in China who was driving her bumper car on the highway.
How does that done? How do you
bumper
do
car.
Like,
that?
how did she get it off the?
I don't know
That's
because I
got
thought it
little
had to
wheels.
be connected, but it does have little wheels, and you can watch the video on it. There's footage. Okay, and there she is out on the freeway. And
I kind of admire that.
Yeah,
I thought they
kinda
needed-
think, okay, she needed to get someplace, obviously, and Uber wasn't
Wait a
going
minute.
there.
She wasn't zippering in,
Yeah, she
probably.
Probably not.
She
She
has
wasn't
it for-
zipping anywhere, but she was getting
merging.
there faster. Maybe
Don't
she
they
was
need those
merging.
two wires that connect
Yeah.
to the thing and they spark and stuff?
Yeah.
Don't they need that?
Okay,
Well,
it's
she does-
one wire up top and one that hits the floor.
But maybe it was a Fred Flintstone kind of style when she was running with her feet. I don't know.
Maybe it's downhill.
She just needed to get there. Okay, and I'm just going to close out with this because it's the month of June and it is the wedding month that these two lovely ladies both apparently had the same idea because they go to the zoo and Rebecca, she has it all planned out. She's going to ask Jessa to marry her, and she gets down on one knee, and she pulls out a ring, and Jessa's like, wait, what? And she digs around in her purse, and she pulls out her ring.
Aww.
Dual
Oh, that's-
rings.
Wow. They both
That's
had the
feel-good
same idea
story.
at the zoo and
I
everything.
know,
Wow.
it's so cute.
That's so sweet.
I love it. Makes me happy.
I wonder-
I love.
Did she do that in front of like the elephants? Or
I don't know.
Was there
I
any
don't
more
know.
to
No,
that?
that's
or-
it. They didn't say it was.
Did they both? Did they keep them?
The Jaguar's kind of cool. I think that might be.
Did
more
they
cool.
sell one?
Meow.
Now, did they?
I wonder which one was better.
Did they make a movie
Right?
of this? 'Cause-
Then they're gonna have like, ooh, that's all you spent on my ring because this is what look what
I
I
hope-
got on your
Well,
ring.
that's right. How would you think it? Only a woman would think of that,
But I
right?
hope.
Because they're both standing there going, "Wait a minute,
Really?
wait a minute."
Do you only love me this much?
Maybe they got each other the exact same rings
Oh,
too.
that would
There
even
you
be
go.
sweet
Yeah.
too.
Well,
okay.
we hope they're still
Aw.
married.
It just happened. They haven't got married yet.
Okay,
I hope
good.
they're
gonna
getting
get
married.
Yes.
They're
All right.
getting married. Stop.
Fern,
Okay.
another outstanding rendition.
But they're not getting a cake.
Nice job out of you.
Oh, was that too soon? Oh.
And
No.
there's
That's a great
Okay.
segue into
that's
our
my
next topic.
that's my editing.
Wow.
Thank you for another
That's
editing cue. We'll be
Oh,
back.
no, that's a keeper.
No, we got to get out of here now. But he's jumped the shark one more time because next
Right.
it's three things with
Was
I-
Tracy Jansen.
Was I supposed to read that?
It's my
TracyJansen.com.
turn.
Was I supposed to read that?
No, it's all right.
Because I didn't get the memo.
He didn't. I'll
All
vouch
right,
for him.
Tracy.
All right.
Easy, friend. Easy.
You want to do your
countdown.
3, 2, 1 shtick?
Here's my countdown.
3, 2, 1.
Tracy Jansen, this week's three things, lovely. I learned a lot more about you. The onion continues to peel,
Really?
and I've learned more different things, and
Did
now
you
I'm
really?
scared about a couple things.
How have I frightened
Well,
you, Scott?
I will give it over to you, and you can talk about what you wrote about.
okay,
hey,
so
wait. Because I gotta remember this. Help me when we're done here. Tell me, it has to do with the Y and the pool. But don't let me forget because I gotta know.
okay.
See, this
All
is
right.
what tells you, like, he's not the guy editing now, so he doesn't care.
Okay.
This is good payback, and I don't blame him.
Really,
Okay,
I haven't-
No,
Okay, the
you
Y in
keep
the
that.
pool.
That's keeper stuff. The
Yeah.
Y in the pool.
Yeah.
All right, so I wrote about three things. The first thing I wrote about was I had said, and I talked about it on the podcast back in January about how this was going to be my year of submission.
Easy.
I haven't submitted anything, and so I've just had to come
You mean
clean.
you're 6 months in and you haven't been submissive to anything?
Yeah, well, you know.
Submission has more than one.
I'm getting a
meaning.
call.
I like
So-
Fern.
I should probably turn
I
this
gotta tell
off.
you.
All right, so yeah, so I've been busy writing my three things, and it takes a little bit of effort and thought and time to write my three things, and I don't have a lot of time and energy to submit to.
Now, submitting means
submitting.
to
places. Maybe I should make.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's
Seems
not
like I'm
fair.
bad at it.
That's not fair because I was listening.
Okay.
I'm here to help.
All right. So as a writer, this was going to be the year that I was going to write and I was going to edit and I was going to submit my stuff for publication. And I just got myself all ready to get rejected because that's part of submitting, right? And I haven't submitted anything except I did enter a writing contest. Like I had to write this 250 word thing and I didn't win. So anyhow. So I'm kind of debating what I want to do with 3 things and maybe kind of scale it back a little bit. So that was my first thing because I want to stay true to what I had intended this year to be. And sometimes, and I equated it to sometimes you have to recalculate your GPS, right? Isn't that right? We're almost halfway through the
It
year.
is. We're halfway done with 18.
Do any of you live with intention, or do you just kind of pummel through your year willy-nilly?
I pretty much pummel.
Yeah, you really have to ask that of me. Come
Well,
on,
okay.
Do I look like a pre-planner?
All right. Well, I'm here to be your beacon of, maybe living with a little more intention. So we'll see how 3 things goes. But I need to get down to business. I need to actually submit things.
Well, we're behind you. We're supportive.
Thanks. And the second thing was about triggers.
This is what scared me.
I'm kind of a trigger, aren't I? Yeah. Oh, yeah.
As he's got the wall of suitcases he's training for those watching on
He's got the
STS
mega
Man.
hat on, too.
This is the wall, but this is the
Yeah.
Mexican wall because
There's
this
a
is between
suitcase.
Conservatives have been.
Yeah, suitcase
She
between
might-
Todd
she
Elvig
might
and Trace
slip-
Jansen.
I
But go
might.
ahead. This is her segment.
No, so here, this could also segue into pet peeves because I have a pet peeve about all the freaking trigger warnings, and that everything's out there, to make sure that nobody gets upset, that everybody's okay. And I talked about that there was, I'm on a Facebook group and they have trigger warnings for everything. Like trigger warning, there's going to be lost kittens in this post. Or trigger warning, I'm not talking about spiders. And I'm just like, are you kidding me? And then I started to
So
think
there's no surprises ever.
well, and it's just like, is everybody so coddled? And I started to think about, there was that term snowflake that was tossed around,
I understand.
right?
Yep.
About the liberals or so, And I just think sometimes I think there's some validity to that we're creating this culture of where we're just all so sensitive and everybody takes offense at everything. And so what I wrote about is I think you have to take ownership of your triggers and be responsible for.
Let me feel your forehead.
She's okay.
I was checking to see
She's
if she had a
No.
fever.
No,
No,
And so I
this is the voice of reason
This is
here.
what yes.
And I talked about one of my triggers was because I grew up as the youngest of a family of 7, and I talked about a group email that went out about an event. Everybody was getting together, and I was left off the email. And I immediately I started to feel embarrassed and forgotten and lost and all those things that I felt,
Really awesome.
growing up in a family of
Meg's
of
is
7.
leaving in her entourage. She's already got an entourage. She's got multiple people with her.
And a security detail.
Yeah, where's her big car? Does she have a
See, now I feel
driver?
like I'm being
No.
forgotten
But I
here.
apologize. That was an
that, was
interview.
that was a trigger.
Oh my God!
trigger.
See, I was so afraid, and I already messed up.
But
No,
she's
but
not a snowflake.
The point is that it's nobody's responsibility but mine to deal with that, and so I had to kind of walk it back and say, okay, it was just an oversight, just like somebody's losing their mind, forgot about
Obviously.
me. It's not about and so own your own triggers. Please just own.
I have to say I totally agree with you, and I think about this a lot. And I think in society now we're setting it up so I think you got to treat everybody fairly, but you don't have the right to not be offended. That's not
Right.
part of our constitutional rights. I mean, you should have some adversity going through life, and you can't
Yeah.
just go through life without ever being offended and not wanting to hear anything you don't want to hear.
Right.
So I
Or
totally
see.
agree with you on that.
Yeah, I think there's just a lot of dancing around and making sure everything's pretty and nice, and life isn't like that.
No.
And so I think it's we take responsibility for the things that you are sensitive to, and then buck up, Buttercup.
Buck up, little beaver.
Wow,
Yeah.
Tracy,
I
I'm
cannot
impressed.
believe it. I am
impressed.
too.
Well,
And that's only two things.
I know. Here's my third.
Nice segue.
You're on a roll.
No. And my third one is no apologies necessary. So I was talking about, I wrote about an incident just last week in my chair-based yoga class where I go around and I
That'd be
talk.
the one I'd be in.
I talked to the people in the class, and this woman came up to me, and she was very timid, and she approached me, and she goes, I'm sorry, but, where are the older chairs? The older chairs that were lower, because the new chairs that we just got these fancy new chairs, they were so high that she can't put her feet on the floor when she sits there because she's a smaller woman. And she goes, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so short, and I'm embarrassed. And I looked at her. I said, okay, no, don't apologize for who you are.
Was she
Don't-
offended?
Maybe.
I think people don't know how to react to that because I use that a lot too. No, don't apologize. It's
Exactly.
fine.
I
Don't
do.
apologize.
I'm
It's-
horrible about
Let's
this.
fix it, but it's not a sorry thing.
Right, and I wondered if I don't know if it's a woman thing. I mean, I come from that female perspective, but I also gave another example of I was waiting outside of a restroom, as we all do, and a young woman came out, early 20s, and she came out and she goes, oh, sorry. And I was just like, I wanted to take her by her shoulders and shake her.
No,
and,
sorry.
And say,
Then you'd have to apologize.
I know. It's like, what are you apologizing for? And so I tend to think it's a woman thing that we tend to apologize for our existence. We tend to try to kind of make ourselves really nice and not be too disruptive and all of that. And so that third thing was all about don't apologize. Don't apologize for the reality of you and your body and your needs, what you need. Ask the yoga teacher for a lower chair, for crying out loud, and so that was it. Don't apologize.
I apologize incessantly.
I don't recognize you. I'm sorry.
I say I'm sorry all the time. Too much. Way
It's
too
the
much.
Jewish guilt, like you always say.
And I remember
I guess
when
it
I
is.
was
I
was
agree.
in TV school, and I said that this was primarily a female thing, but I remember there was a guy that we went to TV school with, and we hung out, and then we were a really tight-knit group, and he would always be like, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. And you know what? Everybody hated him, because it was just like, you're so annoying.
Yeah.
Like, just don't do that. I mean, just stand up. We all have a rightful place to be here. We have the right to be here, take up space, have needs. Don't
I think what it is the apologies of things that aren't necessary.
Right.
It's like you're apologizing for having a need. I'm shorter. I need a shorter chair.
Right.
I was in the bathroom. I need to go in there. So why do we apologize for those things? But we do.
I hope you
and
go
I
in
do,
there.
And I do think apologies are important when we do bad things.
Because we do.
When we do
Hey,
bad things.
I've had to
In the bathroom?
apologize
You
after
do
I've
bad
come out
things?
of the bathroom
Yeah.
before. And that might be what she
That
was
a
talking
boy.
about.
And we're done.
Okay.
And
All
out.
right.
I have a hard,
Thank
I have
you,
a hard
Tim
time keeping up
Boyle.
with you, but
Thank you,
tonight I
Tim
think
Boyle.
I've been right on the money with this.
Thank you, Tim Boyle.
Thank you. That was this week's edition of Three Things. Tracy, always so eloquent. Go read it. TracyJansen.com.
Oh, thank you.
Don't walk. Run. Run to the Google machine.
I don't.
Don't carry a pencil.
I'm still having a hard time recognizing who I'm sitting next
I
to
know.
because
Love the
first-
opinion on the triggers.
First off, she's talking about merging into traffic, and she drives a Prius, right?
Hey,
So you
I've
the
got a
first
power button on my Prius.
The first
Ooh.
FYI.
Boost.
She's got a
first thing you
ludicrous
think
mode.
of, the first thing you think
my
of
hair
when you
blows
think of a
back.
Prius is not somebody merging.
No.
And I'm
You
so
sh-
impressed.
You
That's
should drive with me. I'm a pretty aggressive
I'm
driver.
just saying.
She goes
in
to the
general.
drag races.
No, that surprised
That's
me last
different
week.
drag races.
That surprised me
I
last
love all
week,
the
except
drag
that I thought it was a fluke.
No fluke with Tracy Jansen. Thank you.
Well, I'm a complex human
You
being. That's
are.
all I have to say.
All right, we gotta move it on. We gotta move it on. See, how am I doing? I'm trying to,
take my
and I'm
hat
not
off just 'cause
apologizing
you're
for it
so
either.
cool.
Just handle it. Just keep it moving, Scotty.
That was
It's
tough.
time.
That was tough for him to not apologize.
That was. I'm really sorry. Next, no, you didn't. As usual, the list of topics is too long.
And we've got an audience
What are
today.
you looking
It's a
over there?
look-
Ron,
Kinda.
for?
They can't hear. I don't know.
Yeah, hear that?
Wow, we got applause. even.
Yeah, there you go. Back with no, you didn't. Right after this.
I love the sound of hands clapping. That's one of the sounds that makes me tingle.
Wait a minute. How about the sound? Okay, now does this irritate anybody when you're listening to morning radio and they got the one guy in the background that's laughing at everything?
The laugh track?
No, as long as he's not chewing.
See, I put.
Loudly.
I
Okay,
would annoy the chewing would annoy me more than the
we
laughing.
can normally get about 2 in.
Okay.
So, I mean,
Wait,
I got to.
3, 2,
Apparently I have 2 now.
1.
Why do I have 2? I don't know. Here, you have this.
Time for No You Didn't, and it's always, we try and talk about, if you got to this far on the podcast or you just fast forwarded, we're trying to talk about things that nobody's supposed to talk about. That's one of our attempts here on
Didn't
the
I get
Somethin'
one
About
of those?
Nothing
I didn't
show.
get one of
Here you
those.
go. Here's
What
one
are
for
we
you.
talking about?
Now I don't remember. We have so many different things, and just today, as we were coming in to record this, there was, of course, the NFL. Trump announces that he's going to cancel the Philadelphia Super Bowl Eagles to
Yes.
come to the White House because of the NFL anthem.
Well, the reason
not
is,
really. It's
it's
because
really
some of the
because
players weren't
a
gonna
bunch
come.
of the people were. There was only going to be a handful of people coming.
Yeah.
And so he said, forget it. So I can kind of see his point. I wish he wouldn't have done it. I can't really defend him on this one. But it's kind of contributory negligence. Politics have to get into it, and then all these players say, no, we're not going because we don't like him and we disagree with him.
Well,
And you and I were
didn't-
talking about the other day about you want your sports and don't want politics in sports. But I think it's impossible now they're intertwined. I don't know.
It shouldn't be, but you're
I don't
right,
know.
everything's so politicized.
Well, the White House, see, I would agree. I don't agree with what he did, but I got to say that the White House should be a privilege regardless of who's in there. If Obama would have invited me there to see him, I would have gone to see him.
Yeah.
I agree.
And I don't like the guy, but I would have gone because just out of respect.
It's a
to the
once in a
office.
lifetime
Yeah.
experience, and
Yes.
Another tradition gone. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe it'll come back.
I didn't know that piece about a bunch of them not going.
Yeah, there was
Yeah.
only going to be a handful of them that were
There,
going.
a lot of theirs are very outspoken in the social justice and that whole thing, and then also their owner. They're very vocal about that. So
You're
there's.
saying he offered to have a party at the White House, and
Yeah.
most of them declined. So don't you cancel the party?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
that's one way to look at it.
Hard to
Sure.
kind of go that direction because I mean,
Sure.
That's
So-
kind of how I look at it, but I wish
because
he would've
five
kept-
guys show up, that's disrespecting the office too, isn't it?
I agree.
I not to dismiss that because it is NFL and it's not. So I want to talk. I don't know if the Supreme Court ruling about the same-sex marriage case against the Baker of Colorado, the Supreme Court.
That
or
was the big news of the
That was
day today.
really the big news of today and this week. And what do we? 7-2 is the decision, I believe,
7-2 in favor
of the Baker.
Yeah.
The Baker wins.
Did you read it?
I did actually go back. I actually
made
have it
more
right here.
sense after you read it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
just-
it
it's
did
just
on its
not
face,
about-
yeah.
Right. It's just not about being on one person's side or the other. It was-
Even because you guys' influence, I didn't want to do the CNN. I did National Review, which I think is the conservative thing.
Well,
I don't know if
BBC
it's conservative. It's
or
just not
Sky
CNN.
News. I'm telling you, BBC or Sky News.
So
Sky News.
this really came down to religious First Amendment and religious rights, correct?
That's
what
what
do
it
we
was,
think?
That was the whole basis of it.
Yeah.
Yes, it was religious freedom.
So what do you have any thoughts on this? Any
Well, now,
commentary, or
keep
is
in
anybody?
mind, this was not this decision for good news for the liberals. This decision wasn't really a precedent-setting decision. It was
It wasn't
really
blanket.
more. Yeah, it was really more about this particular case because the Colorado Civil Rights Commission basically went way. The Supreme Court felt they went way beyond their means and was basically saying this guy, well, you can't use this religious freedom as an excuse. Hundreds of organizations have used that as an excuse, and he brought up the Holocaust and different things like that, and the Supreme Court said, wait, you're way out of bounds on this. And basically the Supreme Court said that Colorado Civil Rights Commission was intolerant
Right.
of their ideas and how they were treating this person. So
Anybody else? Anything?
Well, I understand that there is nuance in the ruling, and I appreciate the nuance in that. And it would, like you said, it wasn't like this overreaching thing, but it was more specific to that. And I guess, because I'm one of those liberals, I bristle any time that there is something where it's like, we're not going to serve your kind. We're not, and that sort of thing is so divisive these days. And that was my takeaway from that, is that it's one more thing, like, we're not going to serve your kind, your people. But I also, saying that, I also understand that there were that it went deeper than that, and I appreciate that. And also, the whole biblical thing can be contested about, where in the Bible does it actually say that homosexuality is a sin and all of that. And so it comes down to people's, and we have to, it's kind of obvious that different factions of religions have different interpretations of the Bible. And I think I read, it was just like Jimmy Carter, and whatever you thought of him as a president, he's incredibly, he's a man of deep, deep faith. And he's like, there's nowhere in the Bible that says that this is a sin, and I went to church for many years where homosexuality, homosexuals were welcomed into our congregation. And so when it comes down to the interpretation of what is right, Christian, what isn't, I think that's where it gets really sticky.
Well, but you were just talking about something that doesn't even have to do with religion. You were talking about the Holocaust there for a second. What rules?
It has little to do with religion.
Well, yeah, it does a lot. But
just a little bit.
What I was thinking all of a sudden was, what is to stop one group from going in to bother a business on purpose? There's no way this happened in this case. I'm just saying, if I was a skinhead and I seek out a Jewish baker so that I could ask him to put some sort of a, obviously a swastika would be too brazen, but something else that
that's a good example.
That has the same meaning, and say, listen, you cannot
not serve me.
Yeah. That's right. You cannot not do it because it's a public, and that is what they're saying here, because you can't. There was another ruling that had a precursor to this same one that the judges used that talked about just a case just like that, and I'm sorry I don't have all the information on it, but it was something where if you're just outright opposite, there has to be some compassion on both sides, right? I'm not going to go into a Christian establishment and ask them to do something that's satanic, right?
Correct.
I'm not going to.
And I do agree that if there's plenty of bakeries that would have been happy to have their business, and I don't know.
And I agree. There is. You are correct. I think there's plenty of bakeries that would have taken their business, but they wanted to single out and make an example of this bakery and say, you didn't do this for me, and you're in big trouble. And that was my beef with it. This is America, and there is freedom of speech and freedom of religion. So the government should not be in charge of telling you, Tracy, that you have to teach yoga to anybody. If you have your own business, you have to teach yoga to anybody that comes in there. It's just not the way America is. You should have the right. Your freedom of speech and freedom of religion should take precedent.
No service.
Yeah. You should be able to make rules on who you're going to serve. And
well, I went and texted the unofficial lawyer of the Something About Nothing show, Louis Hoffman, and he said the baker said that preparing a wedding cake for a gay wedding violated his sincere religious beliefs that homosexuality was immoral. He didn't want to promote a gay wedding. Civil Rights Commission fined him under a state law, and along the way denigrated his religious beliefs in a hostile way, analogizing it, defending slavery, etc. But now this is where kind of the headline. He's saying this decision was very narrow, not clear what the court would do without religion bashing by the commission. Also turned in the cake maker being a custom cake because it invokes artistic, expressive statements. So this is really. I think the point of narrow is it was going down a little narrow thing, which is an interesting thing that you brought up, Todd, and you guys is like, right, okay, the business has rights, the customer has rights, we all have rights. That's what we love about living here. And he also, interesting enough, said finally the case arose before the 2015 decision of the Supreme Court on gay marriage. At a time, the law was unsettled, and the court left it open what would have happened if this occurred thereafter. Yeah. So, a lot of different things here, but an interesting thing to talk about, and talk about who has rights to do what and choices. It's like and
it's Pride Month.
Is it?
It is Pride Month.
All right.
I love the parade because people are always naked in it.
We're running out of time, but quick shots at
They
pardon.
are.
Quick shots at pardons or tariffs.
Well,
Anybody? I'm
the
throwing it
pardon
out there.
thing.
Pardons?
The pardon thing. Trump comes out today and
God.
says, "I have the power to pardon myself."
Of course he does.
Oh my
But he
God.
does. But I wish he wouldn't say things like
Yes.
that. But
Me
that
too.
being said, he does it for one reason, because the left goes bananas when he says
Sure.
these things.
Gets
he
him on
does
TV.
it. It's very calculated. He
Absolutely.
tweets these things, and the left just goes.
I'm telling you, it's smoke and mirrors. I told you that way a long time ago in episode 3.
Yeah,
Right?
I
that this
agree.
guy likes to throw stuff out there
Ugh.
while he's doing something
I
else. over
agree
here.
100%. And when anything that's in the news inflammatory that he's saying, you better look behind everything and see what's really going on.
And if you don't believe him, he had a lot of parking tickets in Manhattan that he just pardoned himself
Did he?
years ago.
Okay. That is.
JK.
Who writes your material?
JK, well, you wrote that joke. Anything else before we wrap up? Tariffs? I think the tariffs is all. He's going to change his mind 17 times, and people go, you know what? We got $1 billion. We got to kind of get that. Okay, you can go play tough guy, and you can do this stuff, but at the end of the day, because he's changed back and forth.
I think it's all saber rattling.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
It's-
All right. Thank you, guys. Is that it?
Yeah,
That was
thank
a short
you.
no, you didn't. Okay, thank you to my guest, Meg Mclean. Check it out, megsmclean.com. Thank you to everybody
She was
here in the
awesome.
cast. She was awesome. Go
Yeah.
check it
Fun
out.
person.
I want to thank also my other guest, my father. Every week
Thank
I
you,
got to
Don.
thank him. Every week.
But he's always out to eat.
He is. He's
Wow. He's almost like you.
He's good.
Do you ever eat at home anymore?
Oh, yeah, all the time.
You lie like a rug.
Go check us out on iTunes. Please leave a request. Letters at somethingaboutnothing.com.
And music.
Music at somethingaboutnothing.com. And please talk to each other. It just could save the universe. Have a good
don't-
night, everybody.
Good
Just
night.
don't
Good
talk
night.
to me.
Good stuff.